Good afternoon. We are group number 9. So our topic for the presentation is toxic components in the milk through the animal feed. This is the outline of our presentation, the contents, introduction, chemical and physical hazards. Chemical hazards, we'll be focusing more on that, like the toxic components, which is originating from the animal feed, which can be transmitted to the milk and which causes risks to the public health. The next is the measures to reduce this kind of risk of contamination in the milk through the animal feed. So before we start off with our presentation, this is a simple question which was covered even in the lecture last week, I guess. So it's a question to the audience. Which one do you think is the highest milk producing country in the world? Anyone? Yeah, if you want to answer, you can lift your hands. Yeah, please go.
Yeah, I think India.
True. Oh, it's as simple as it is. India contributes about 22% of the global milk production. After India comes the United States, China, Pakistan, and Brazil. This is a simple general knowledge on the milk. Yeah, so milk, we know that it is a daily food. We consume it from the daily breakfast to the evening, like the snacks and the pancakes and all. But if those milk that we consume is not free from the contaminants, it could pose a high risk to various diseases in humans, including the zoonotic diseases. So here it is, the milk contaminants. They are classified into two, chemical and physical hazards. So in the chemical hazards, it includes, like I mentioned earlier, the milk feed, the animal feed, dairy farm, and the milk processing. We'll be discussing further in the next slides. The next is the physical hazards, which are like the contamination and adulteration which originates through the entire dairy production chain, such as sand, soils, plastics, metals, and all. In the animal feed, there are mycotoxins, which is like the most chemical contaminant in the milk. And from that aflatoxin, this B1 is the mycotoxins. Mainly, there are various kinds of mycotoxins which originates from the fungus, which causes molds in the feed. And from that mycotoxin, aflatoxin is the most prominent one found in the milk. Next are, it should be plant, not plant toxins. Pesticides, organic pollutants, and heavy metals. So from here our topic for the presentation is on aflatoxins, the animal feeds. We'll discuss more on that further. Next is in the dairy farm, the organic pollutants, heavy metals, radionuclides, veterinary drugs such as the antibiotics, NSAIDs, which are the painkillers, and helminthics, which are commonly used in dairy farms, are the most prominent ones found in the milk. Next are the detergents and disinfectants too. And lastly, milk processing. In that, the adulteration, like the fraudulent practices. There was a case of melamine in China. Melamine was added in the milk in order to increase the nitrogen content, which will give directly a false result of protein in the milk. As I said, mycotoxins, B1 is the most prominent and the most toxic aflatoxin. Others are B2, G1, and G2. These aflatoxins are produced by the fungus of the species Aspergillus, namely the Aspergillus flavus and it is found mainly in the aerial parts of the plants, like the flowers and the leaves. And the aspergillus flavus, it's mostly found in the soil, like commonly in the legumes, like peanuts. The next part of the milk contaminant is the plant toxins. Plant toxins, the toxin which is present in the plant mainly is this one, which causes the contamination, is pyrazolidine alkaloids, PAS. This PAS is present in the plant as a defense mechanism against the insects, which the animals, the ruminants, won't be able to digest, and it gets transmitted in the milk. The cows omit this, but when the grass silage is provided to the plant, to the cows, this PAS gets transmitted into the GIT of the gastrointestinal tract of the dairy cows. These are some of the weeds that you can find this plant toxin. The third one is the pesticides commonly used in the agriculture, like organochlorine compounds such as DDT, dichlorodiethyl trichloroethane, and HCH. Cyclodines and pyrethroids, which are commonly used in killing of the pests in agriculture. The fourth one is organic pollutants, which originates from the environment due to the results of industries and all. PCBs, dioxins, furans, brominated flame retardants are some of the common examples of such organic pollutants. In animal feed, it enters via environmental contamination or when the animal is grazing on the meadow or the pasture, which is having this kind of like pollutants. Lastly, it is the heavy metals. It results mainly due to the industrial pollutants. The sewage, sludge, which enters the agricultural farms is also one of the main reasons these contaminants will be present in the milk. Some of the examples of these heavy metals are cadmium, mercury, and lead. So we got a data from some of the literatures, which is also uploaded in the Brightspace. It's data from RASFF, Rapid System for Feed and Rapid Alert System for Feed and Food and Feed. This data was collected from 2009 to 2014. As you can see in this graph, the percentage of notification in animal feed is the highest. I'm not going to use this one, it's just confusing. Percentage of the notification received from the RASFF was the highest in the animal feed sector, which was having a high concentration of aflatoxin in the animal feed materials. And the next graph you can see is the reports of chemical hazards in various dairy products from 2009 to 2014. And in that, aflatoxin M1 is the highest one. Here, in ruminants, the aflatoxin B1, as I mentioned earlier, is the most toxic component present. And this is converted to aflatoxin M1 in the rumen of the cows, the cattle, and this will be transmitted in the milk. The alpha-toxin B1 is converted to M1, which will be present in the milk, and that causes health risks to the humans after consumption of that contaminated milk. I'd like to switch. Okay.
So to prevent this contamination in the milk, different measures can be taken to reduce this risk. This figure shows it really well. The contamination starts in the field, And to prevent this contamination, it is important that there is a healthy crop. So a healthy crop can be done by maximizing the health of the plants, and also certain crops need to be chosen that are compatible. It is important to have crop rotation and proper fertilization and weed control. Beside the crop health, it's also important to look at the environmental factors that can play a role in this, and the harvesting. While harvesting these crops, it is important that the kernels need to be intact to prevent the mycotoxins to get in there. On the farm level, measures can be taken in the storage, so it's important to have moisture control in the storage. Also, the temperature needs to be controlled, and it needs to be regularly checked for insects, wet spots, and the temperature then. The faster the turnover is of the feed, the less chance it is for the mycotoxins to develop in the feed. And this figure shows that all. Let's see. Yeah, next slide. Let's see. The risk of contamination can also be reduced when own feed is used, so the feed that is produced at the own farm. This is because there are different rules and legislation in different countries. So when you want to transport worldwide, it is different. In this figure, it is shown what the maximum of alpha toxin in food is per number of countries. So you can see there's quite a big difference between countries what the maximum limit of aflatoxin is. This is mainly because there are different economic and political problems in different countries, so like food stock and all that sort of stuff. Let's see. No, this is still the same. Let's see. Yeah. It is important that the feed is traceable and is of legal standards. And this can be done to buy feed from GMPs, so good manufacturing practices. They are strict in their ways of working with the feed and how to transport them, all that sort of stuff. They have like a code for transport, which talks about the hygiene in the transportation. It is also important that the different feed materials aren't mixed, and also not mixed like with other materials like manure or medicines or disinfectants. And it should be stored in a strict hygiene facility, so there's no growth of fungal molds, and there's also no contamination with like pets or birds or rodents. And lastly, it is important that the spoiled silage shouldn't be fed to the cattle, obviously. It is important, besides the mycotoxin, that there is a good withdrawal period of veterinary drugs in these animals, so that it also isn't contaminating our feed. And what Shekar also discussed upon is that the sewage sludge shouldn't be in the soil for the grazing animals, and this could also lead to contamination of the milk. In the Netherlands, we have the Ketenkwaliteit milk certification. They comply with certain criteria of hygiene, animal health, animal welfare, nourishment, hygiene, also set hygiene, environmental aspects, and all that sort of stuff to ensure our public health. And with this, they carry out many laboratory inspections and also do quality and monitoring programs to keep the contaminants out of the milk and out of the milk products that we eat. So all in all, milk could be a threat to public health when there is not any organizations that monitor it. It is important that we look for good crop health at first, good hygiene, and there is good registration if there is a contamination and how to deal with that further. So when that is done, we can all enjoy a nice glass of milk. So thank you all for listening, and if you have any more questions, please let me know.